Hello, I'm going to share a nice little mobility flow sequence that I like to do. Really nice to do on a day that you're feeling a bit stiff or sore, or even at the start of the week just to loosen up the week. So come join me by standing at the edge of your mat. We're going to have our feet hip distance apart. And we're going to start with a few shoulder rolls just to save the breath and open up the chest. So take a breath in, shrug those shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together and think about reaching your fingertips towards the mat below you. Inhale, shrugging up again. Exhaling, squeezing back, sliding fingertips towards that mat. And we'll take one more. From here, we're going to come into a forward roll by tilting the chin down, rounding through the shoulders, feeling a curve happen from the upper spine all the way down to that lower back. And you can choose to soften your knees to allow those fingertips to just rest on the mat in front of you. We're going to hold this for a breath in, really feeling the stretch through the back of the legs. And then when you breathe out, we're going to sink the hips down into the squat. Here you can just pick the hands up, fold those hands into the chest, maybe even use your elbows to help push those knees out and support that squat. Inhale, lift the hips up, back into the fold, feel length through the back of the legs. Really try to roll up through those sit bones. Allow the weight of the head and shoulders hand over and deepen the stretch. And again, we're going to switch straight into that squat position, feeling opening through the hips. And also feel some length in the spine. So try and lift that chest up and feel length along the spine. Inhale into your fold. Exhale into your squat. We're going to do one more. Inhale back to that fold. Exhale, squat. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands forward into a high plank position. Dropping or stepping the feet back so we can drop the hips. And from here, that right leg is going to step forward into a lunge position or a runner's lunge. Keep the back knee elevated. Work on sinking the hips down, lifting through the chest, finding length in the spine. A few breaths here, really lengthen through the back leg, sink through the hips, lift through the chest. And now if you're comfortable there, can you reach up with that right arm, coming into a twist and lower. Exhale, lifting and looking towards the ceiling, gazes at your fingertips. We'll take a last twist. And then we're going to soften that back knee down to the mat, release the toes. From here, lift a little more through the chest, sink the hips a little further forward. We're going to allow that right knee to float away from the body. And then we're going to squeeze it back into the outside of the shoulder. Let it reach or float away, feel opening into the groin, the inside of that right hip, and then squeeze back in. Good, so exhale into that opening. We'll take two more here with this. Good, now tuck those back toes. We're going to press back straight into a down dog position. So lengthen that left leg away and then reach back with your right leg, lifting the sit bones and dropping both heels towards the mat. One more full breath here. And now we're going to lift that right leg forward and across so we can sing a pigeon stretch or a glute stretch. I want you to slide that left leg back and away from you. Square off your hips as best you can. To start with, we're going to stay here for breath on our hands and just soften through the shoulders. Gaze is at the edge of your mat. And then we're going to slowly lower onto the elbows. Again, we'll pause for a breath here, allowing the elbows to support us. And then if you're comfortable, you can continue down, lowering that forehead all the way to the mat. Really let the whole body and the weight of the pelvis and hips sink your body down into that mat. And when you're ready, start to lift yourself back up onto your hands. We're going to tuck those back toes again and reach back into a down dog, lifting back, hips elevated, heels drop down. Now we're going to take a little pivot. So we're going to walk the hands to the right and then step the left leg out. So we're in a wide stretch forward fold. Hold the elbows, use that weight of the body to sink forward, same as the forward fold, but with really long, wide legs. And choose if you want to work with straight knees or slightly soft knees. Now reach both hands down to the mat. We're going to take a twist here. We'll open on the right, locking up to the ceiling, back down, and then open on the left. Good, we'll take one more of those each side, reaching up to the right, and then the left. Now from here, we should be able to swivel ourselves forward, and then we're going to step back into that down dog again. Quick exhale out, and step forward on that left side. Reposition if you need to by moving the feet a little further apart. We're doing a runner's lunge here on the left side, so we're keeping that back knee elevated, sinking the hips down and working on lifting up to the chest. Holding for a few breaths, just sticking with the stretch. Now, if you want to, you can come into that twist on the left side. So we release the left hand, sweep it up towards the ceiling, lock in that direction, and lower. Take your final one. Pause here and slowly lower that back knee, release the toes. Exhale, sink the hips forward, lift through the chest. Now we're going to come into our hip stretch on the inside by letting that left knee fall away, squeezing it back into the shoulder. Good, opening out. As it opens, the big toe and the inside of the foot is going to lift away from the mat, and then it's going to press down to the mat as we come back in. Last one here. Good. Tuck the back toes, lift that knee, stepping back into your down dog. 2 breaths here. And now I'm lifting that left leg up and across, sinking and sliding away and down with the right leg. Take a moment to support yourself on your palms. Square off those hips and let the hips sink forward. If you're comfortable, lower onto those elbows for 1 breath, supporting through the forearms. And then we'll lower all the way down if you want. Here we're going to stay a few breaths. Forehead on the mat, or forehead can be stepped onto our palms. Gently curl your head and shoulders away from the mat. Walk those hands in. We're coming back to a down dog again. Tuck your toes. Lift the knee. Reach that left leg back. Sink both heels. This time we're going to walk those knees in and out one at a time. Varying the stretch through the legs from left to right. And then walk your feet into the center of the mat. Feet slightly wider than hip distance. We're going to finish with a few squats to forward fold. So sink the hips down, lift the chest. Then lift through the sit bones. Allow the upper body to fold forward. We'll take 2 more here. Back into your squat. Pause for a breath in. And then release as you lift up. Final squat, sinking down, lifting the chest. And then lifting up into the forward fold. Take a moment to just inch those feet in back under your hips. And we're going to very slowly soften the knees, tuck the tailbone, roll out of it. Step those shoulders over the hips. And we'll finish with 1 shoulder roll, lifting up, exhaling and softening those fingers down and away. Great work. Well done.